Today we are at the Fairview Wine Farm to talk to their online marketing manager, Gosia Podgorska, about the complexities of managing a corporate brand. Let's go.
Hi, my name is Gosia Podgorska and I am the online brand manager at Fairview Wines.
Could you tell us about the Fairview brand?
Fairview is a third-generation family wine farm. It's an artisanal cheesery and it's a destination. And it's very well known for its iconic goat tower. Charles Back is the owner and he's very much an entrepreneur and an innovator in the wine world. He's very much known for swimming against the stream. In 1978, he joined his father Cyril Back at the Fairview Wine Farm, and from the beginning he began doing things differently. He introduced Mediterranean varieties to the farm, such as Viognier, Petit Syrah, Tempranillo and Sangiovese, and actually to the Cape, a lot of these were mother blocks. The other thing that he did was he introduced the artisanal cheese factory, and he was the first to make goat's cheese in South Africa, and later on the farm actually became the first carbon neutral factory in South Africa. So there's a lot of achievements there. And then on the wine side, we've got a very tiered approach to our wines. So we begin with the La Capra range. La Capra means goat in Italian, and the aim there is to be very accessible. It's an entry-level wine, and it's fun, it's more festive. Then in 2000, the Goats du Rhône brand was introduced, and it's more of a tongue-in-cheek blended range, and it actually remains one of the highest-selling South African brands worldwide. Then Fairview itself has a tiered approach where we've got the traditional, more classic single varieties. We've got the blended regional revival range, the single vineyard, small craft and small volume range, and then of course the flagship, which is named after Charles Back's father, Cyril Back. Fairview is very diverse and different, and I think one of the reasons for that is it covers a gamut of styles and price points, from your easy drinking to your more serious age-worthy reds. And with that, what's very important for Fairview is to push wine education and fun, and that's sort of the balance that we're always trying to achieve.
What have some of the challenges been in building the Fairview brand, while on one hand you have this family business and on the other you have this corporate identity? I
think with Fairview, the sort of perception comes in because we try to appeal to all markets, but on different levels. We're often seen in some people's eyes as a very commercial farm, but that's because of our success. We attract over 300,000 visitors a year, which is very much unheard of for a wine farm that's family owned. And at the same time, we also have national distribution for our cheese, meaning you'll see our cheese everywhere. But on the wine side, we actually only have about 5 SKUs which see international distribution and bigger volumes. The majority of the wines we produce are actually small volume, crafted wines, and that's really the message we're trying to get across, that for us it's not about quantity, it's really about quality and keeping a consistent wine out there. So the message we're always wanting to push is the interesting stories that our wines have to tell, very much the wines that you can enjoy around the dinner table, and that's what's most important for us.
How would you say Fairview differentiates itself from its competitors?
Fairview is one of the most successful wine farms, and I think it's one of the reasons is because we have a full offering. So from our award-winning deli to our standard tasting room to our master tasting room and to the goat shed, we really have a full winelands destination to offer. So to differentiate ourselves from our competitors, Fairview's identified some key philosophies that we really orientate everything we do around. And those 3 key philosophies are our heritage, our ingenuity and our authenticity. Also, something that's very important to remember is at the end of the day, we're farmers. So we're agriculturally driven farmers, and the land dictates what we do. It's not the other way around. So this is actually why we own all our own vineyards, because Charles Back is a true advocate, believing that in true equal rights for all the workers on the farm. So much so that in 1997 he established the Fair Valley Workers Association, giving the employees an opportunity to farm their own land. The other element that's very important and differentiates us is that we actually introduce a lot of Mediterranean varieties to the farm, because Charles believes that the climate and the terroir, we call it, really grows better with Mediterranean varieties. So he's introduced a lot of mother blocks to South Africa, such as Petit Syrah, Tempranillo, and Viognier. So that's an important element to remember. Something else that differentiates us is that we endeavour to be very sustainable. So we aim to grow all our own vegetables and rear our own meat on the farm so that we can use it in our restaurant, as sustainability is really an important element to Fairview. This is why we also introduced the cheese factory, because we had goats on the farm, and what a beautiful pairing to have wine and cheese together. The goats actually sort of also become our mascot, and you'll see it across all our branding.
What are the differences in the Fairview brand in relation to that of its products?
Fairview is very much the mother brand, and within it has different levels and different tiers, as I did mention. But to go into it a little bit more, La Capra is mostly your younger generations. It's a single variety range, which means you have a Pinotage or you have a Sauvignon Blanc. We're really aiming at making wine very accessible. It's an entry-level price point, and it's all about being fun and festive. Then you've got the Goats de Rome range, which was actually introduced 10 years ago. And while it is aimed at a younger market, the people that were drinking it 10 years ago still love it. So it's actually sort of a wine for everybody. It's a blended Rhone style range, and the price point's also very accessible. And I think part of the appeal comes from the fact that it's a humorous brand. It's a play on the words Côte du Rhône in the French region, but we've made it sort of much more accessible and approachable and fun. So Fairview is majority local sales, and on that front the push there is to really show that it's consistent in quality. It's about the wines that you want to share with your family and talk around the table with, but it's really also about reflecting more traditional classic varieties, and the key here is the quality. That's of utmost importance.
What were some of the challenges in setting up the online store, Fairview Cellar Door?
Setting up an online shop in this day and age is a true challenge because obviously the market's incredibly saturated. People are being inundated with newsletters, social media, special offerings. So the first challenge was to find a unique selling point for the online shop. From our side, the offering that we could offer there was the fact that we can offer the same cellar door prices as we have on the farm, as we do on the online shop. The other added value was that we made a brand that's exclusive and only sold by the tasting room and the online shop, and this is a wine called Broken Barrel. And we've actually seen quite a lot of success with that, and I think it stems from the fact that it's exclusive and people really enjoy something, that element of exclusivity. So the second biggest challenge is actually communicating the fact that we have an online shop to people and then getting them to be repeat customers. So the challenge there is you don't want to inundate people and tell them, you know, we've got an online shop and your newsletter and your social media, but to keep reminding them and keep them on your radar and have them keep you on their radar. So that's sort of the very important balance that we're busy learning. I mean, we only started the online shop about 4 months ago, so it's very much in its inception phase. But the consistency and making sure that we communicate the same message on every platform that we communicate on to our customers has to be the same, which is also why the offerings that we do in the tasting room are the same offerings that we have on the online shop. So whether it's a mixed case or a special, it's always reflected and communicated on both platforms. When it comes to managing a brand, I think it's really important to become passionate and absorbed in the brand. You really have to believe what you're talking about and selling, and it really shows in your work and your communication. And so yeah, the other element that's really important is to focus on what makes you different, what makes you unique, and communicate that. You don't want to be following the herd, you want to be leading it.